Hello and good evening to everyone joining us today. My name is Paras Fatnani. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer and co-founder at Seed Global Education. We're thrilled to partner with King's College Business School, talking about studying in the UK and talking some success stories of folks that have been there, done that, gone through that whole experience as well. Before we get started, there's over 70 of you already joining in less than a minute. So great to see such crowds coming in. If you want to just message on the chat box at the bottom of your screen, which city are you joining in from today? Which city are you joining in from? If you can post that at the bottom of your screen on the chat function, that'll be good for us to just get a feel of where people are coming in from today. We've got Patricia from Accra. Lovely to have you here, Patricia. For everybody that's joining in, welcome to today's session. We've got Emmanuel from Accra. Lovely, Emmanuel. Good to have you here. Folks from India as well, Mumbai. Lovely. Now the names and places are starting to flow in. Great to see you all here. Thank you for joining. Today's idea is to give a little bit of a taster and understanding of what it is like to study in the UK and what career outcomes have folks that have gone through this process have experienced as well. So lovely. Please keep posting on the chat where you're joining in from. I'll come back to you in just under a minute. But just to introduce today's session, we're going to talk a little bit about the success stories and career outcomes that King's College Business School alumni have had. Just to introduce the panel that I have with me here today. First up, I have Tanvi Gupta, who's a MSc Human Resource Management graduate and Organizational Analysis graduate from 2022. She's currently the CEO and founder at Unibound. Um, she leads the company in providing SOP development and application guidance to candidates that are looking at studying abroad. We also have Ananya Musib, who's an investment banking analyst at HSBC. She's been a part of the graduate program in the investment banking coverage team since July of 2022, so right after graduation as well. Prior to that, she worked as a origination and analyst at Sovereign Capital Partners and led the research strategy for King's Enterprise Fellowship, Research Fellowship as well. And then, last but by no means least, we've got Aditya Mehrotra, who's also a MSc Digital Marketing graduate from 2022, and he's currently the founder and chief strategist at Versatile. Versatile as a company focuses on helping brands pivot to Web3 technologies, blockchain, as well as the metaverse. Lovely to have all three of you here. And also, we have Martin Matos, who is the global partner and student recruitment manager at King's College Business School. I've had the pleasure to work with him in recent times, but he's somebody who's traveling across the world to meet passionate candidates, helping them with their study abroad aspirations as well. So, as an introduction, great to showcase our group of panelists that are here today. We now have over 150 of you here joining in. So we'll get started. Just before we do that, I'm going to put up a quick poll on your screen. So in just a second, it will pop up on your screen. What is your primary motivation to study or pursue a master's program in the UK? Is career progression your primary opportunity or priority? Is access to world class education? Is it connection to people from all over the globe? Is it the entrepreneurial advancement that the UK offers? Is it personal growth and skill development? Or is it something else that excites you about studying in the UK? We'll keep the poll on for about 30 seconds. So if you can take a quick minute for everyone attending today, what is your primary motivation for pursuing a master's in the UK? Is it career progression? Is it access to world class education that the UK provides? Is it connection to people from all over the world and the diversity? Is it the entrepreneurial advancement opportunities available? Is it the personal growth and skill development? Or is it something else that excites you about the UK and pursuing a program, a master's program here? Over 60% of you have answered, so it's great to see several of you engaging. We'll keep it on for another 10 seconds. If you can take a quick moment to answer to that. what is your primary motivation for pursuing a master's program in the UK? All right. I hope most of you have had a chance to reply to this. Okay, for the folks that are joining in just now, you'll see a poll question on your screen. What is your primary motivation to pursue a master's program in the UK? If you can take a quick second to respond to that, lovely. With that, we're now going to close the poll and share the results with all of you. So it's great to see career progression remains the top choice of folks that are looking at the UK, very closely followed by access to world class education, and then personal growth and development being another priority or motivation for people to think of studying in the UK. Entrepreneurship and connecting with people, so the networking aspect got some interest as well. Um, so great. Today's motive is for us to talk to you a little bit more about what it is like to pursue a program in the UK. And before I get started, to invite Martin to speak to us next, I'm just going to request each of the four speakers that we have once more, just because more people have just joined in, to quickly introduce themselves one more time. Tanvi, if you want to start off, just a headline about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone, and so nice to be here and address you guys. So, I'm Tanvi, and I did my master's in 2022. I did my master's in human resource management and organizational analysis. And since a year, I've started my own company, which is called Unibound. And at Unibound, we basically help students like you, like me, to get into the best universities and make the best out of your experience. Thank you.
Fantastic. And Anya?
Hi everyone. I also graduated in 2022. Like Tanvi, I did the MSc in banking and finance. Since then, I've been working as an investment banker at HSBC. I work in the UK M&A team. Yeah, welcome to all.
Wonderful. Thank you. Another there?
Hey everyone, I'm Aditya Mehrotra, founder and CEO at Versatile. I did my master's at King's in 2021 from 2022 which was an MSc in digital marketing. We help brands across the globe pivot to Web3, which could be in blockchain, it could be in Web3 gaming, retail, or anything that would be linked to an immersive technology like AI or IoT, or it can be any emerging technology in the space. So we work around those companies and we bring them up to speed.
Wonderful. So great diverse backgrounds of people and the programs that they've pursued. With that, I'm going to hand over to Martin to speak to us a little bit about Kings and also introduce himself to the audience that's joined in just now.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you for, again, amazing panelists to attend. My name is Martin. I am the Global Partner and Student Recruitment Manager here at King Business School. I am international student, like you're probably going to be yourselves. I've studied in Australia, studied in UK, studied in country where I'm from. Really passionate about helping students to achieve their dream. So without overdue, we will have now 10 minutes to go through. I will share with you a little bit about the business school to give you a brief information. Please, can
Just
I just
before
Yeah.
Yeah, just before Martin kicks off, for all the attendees that are here, two house rules that might help you make the most of today's session. One, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Martin or ask any of our panelists, please use the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. We will try and ask everybody, ask all the questions that have come in. If you do see a question that's already been asked, which is aligned to what you might want to ask, just upvote that question, and that is how we know that that question is more important to more of you, and we'll try and make sure we cover that as well. In just a minute, the chat function will be disabled, so please post any questions that you have on the Q&A section going forward. Thank you, and over to you, Martin.
Perfect. Can you confirm you see my screen clearly, please? Perfect. Lovely. Right. So once again, thank you for coming and attending. So welcome again. So without introduction, let me tell you a little bit more about the King's College London, because as a business school, we are one of the faculties. But of course, there is a history of excellence. So the university has been founded in 1829. Therefore, we will soon celebrate 200 years. Consists of over 9 faculties. And therefore, this is spanning from health, law, arts, sciences, and this fostered the interdisciplinary collaboration and that enriching the business school with the diverse insights. We are ranked, as you can see, currently 40th, the QS in the world, 36 by the Times Higher Education. We are very proud. Just today, I think the ranking came out. We are in the top 1% or 14th in the world for sustainability. We are a well-known brand for the UK employability as well. So there's various rankings we go through. However, today, I would like to concentrate, of course, on the business school. So the business faculty is the youngest faculty out of 9. However, we are very proud that even in the space of 5 years, so we became faculty in 2017, or business school, we have already secured a triple accreditation. And just to put it into perspective, there is around 5,500, 6,000 business schools, and only around 132, unless it's changed, is triple accredited, which is less than 1%. We are already ranked for business and management 3rd in the UK, and very happy that from our surveys, NSS and PTES, which is for undergraduate and postgraduate, we not only have the best score across the faculties, but also above the average of the Russell Group universities, which King's College London is part of. As for the location, we are not a campus university, but we are the most centrally localized university, where 4 out of our 5 campuses are actually located by the River Thames, between the House of Parliament and London Bridge. And you can see the Strand campus, which is part of the business school, law, arts and humanities, is located in number 2. If you've been in London, it's right next to Covent Garden or Holborn. We have made massive investments. Here you can see between the buildings how it used to be a couple of years ago, and I can't wait if our current alumni, the panel, can relate to that and remember this picture. But this is a new view, as you can see. No more cars, new development between the Bush House and the Strand campus. So really a lot of investment and changes are also going for the surrounding areas for the students to have a great experience. As a student of the business school, we are very happy that we have took over a Bush House from 2017. It used to be the headquarters of the BBC. It has various modern facilities, spaces, Bloomberg terminals. Here you can see some pictures of our classrooms. The favorite spot for the students, the 8th floor terrace, where you have a beautiful view on the whole London. And of course, the central location connects students to the leading businesses and offer various networking opportunities. As for our community, we're really growing. These numbers last year, you wouldn't believe, but currently we're looking at around 1,400 undergraduate and now over 1,600 postgraduate students, a very diverse cohort. At King's College London, you will find over 180 nationalities. At the business school itself, we are now reaching 90 and above at both levels of education. We are unique. We offer unique scholarships, which I will touch on later as a business school. And we also started a new executive MBA only last year, and we currently have 44 students there. So with the programs, really you can find everything online, but we get 6 finance programs, I like to call 6 management programs. We don't have a time to go into detail, but please, if you want to stay in touch, you can and ask me any questions. We offer entrepreneurship program, very popular, particularly for students from India in strategic entrepreneurship and innovation, but also a very unique, only 8 programs or similar around the world in the medtech innovation and entrepreneurship. As you know, King's College London also has a hospital, so this is a great combination of engineering, business, and health sciences. And we also offer a couple of marketing programs, and as you know, one of the guests on the panel is the graduates of this program. If you wish to have a look at the brochure, you can download it. Well, automatically it takes you to the brochure, so you can scan the QR code on your screen now. I wanted to bring, there is so many things unique about the business school, but I picked the careers team, and we had the session a month ago if you attended. But on top of the King's College London careers team, the business school has its own careers team, which is dedicated to the students and is separate for undergraduate and for postgraduate. And these are all professionals which are here to support our students to improve their skills, to prepare you for the real world, to secure the job. And this support will be available to you even 2 years after your graduation. And this is only a snapshot, but last year I asked for like a summary. They did over 1,200 personal appointments, so you can have as many as you need. Various career workshops. Of course, they invite various employees. There are various events. So increase the opportunities to expose you to the opportunities to secure the job or to even improve your skills to secure that job. Various masterclasses, and there are regular alumni networking events happening. I think the best compliment I received from students I always ask about the careers team was actually a complaint where they said to me, Martin, is so much happening that we cannot attend it all. So I think it really stuck with me. Here is just an example. This was actually recently. We had the chief marketing officer from Infosys to come and talk to our students and share with them various, knowledge and about the companies and so on. But this is really recent one. I wish I could have a time for more. So let's look at the application key dates. Now, if you're thinking of 2025 September, which is our intake, we don't do January intake. The applications are open as we speak. To submit an application, I think I will start with what we don't need. We don't need GMAT or GRE. It's not compulsory. But to submit an application, which is done directly on the website, all you need to go to the website of the program, and you will see in the right-hand top corner at the button apply, you would need your latest transcript, your personal statement or statement of purpose, and academic referee details. We do not require academic references in a form of PDF or as an attachment. For the English language test, you can submit it without it, but of course we accept various numerous English language tests. For the IELTS, which is the most common, it's a 7 overall and 6.5 in each element for every program. Please check in details the entry requirements for each program, as it might have a particular components of requirement, such as finance will ask for quantitative subjects. The deadline for students from abroad, the first deadline is 9 of March, and therefore I would really advise you to try to do it before, because after that, if the course does fill up, the admission can just decide to close that. The final deadline is, however, 25th of July. But like I said, I would really strongly advise you to do it 9 of March because it carries lots of benefits. For example, the scholarship, which I will touch on. And once you apply, you will wait roughly between 4 to 6 weeks, depends on the course, which you will then receive further instructions where the deposit, you can accept the offer and deposit is required. The deposit is 2,000 or 3,000 British pounds, and that is subtracted from your tuition fees. Again, the deposit varies, depends on the program. So the application, like I said, is very straightforward. Once you create an account on the King's Apply, you will be taken to the sections, which you then have to just fill really one by one. The application fee is £130. So you need to register, but please, once again, check the entry requirements. They are all listed on our website, no matter where you studied. Review the application, complete each sections, review it again when you have done everything, because it will carry, and then you just submit the application as it is. And once we receive the references, because we automatically send an email out to your referee, please don't forget the referee details. Academic ones has to be academic email, not personal one. We see this sometimes, students do that mistake. So no gmail.com, no Yahoo. It's the academic email which your professor or your ex-professor should be able to provide you with. I'm very excited for the scholarships because we offer quite few, but it is on our website, but I will keep it very, very simple. Any of our 15 postgraduate courses, full-time courses, if you do apply and you do receive an offer, you are eligible to apply for one of these scholarships. There are various groups. This particular doesn't matter where you're applying from. So it's the King's Business School Scholarship. It's up to 10,000 British pounds. So in order to be eligible to apply, you need to receive an offer, and then you will receive an instructions on how to apply. Every year, we also partner with British Council. In case you are holding a passport from France, Italy, or Spain, this year, this is only for 2025 intake. This is another scholarship we do offer this year, and it's for 2025 intake for passport holders from France, Italy, and Spain, and it's called Great Scholarship. And last but not least, we also collaborate with other faculties. And once again, we've done this in 2024. We do another one which we will offer for 2025 intake is the Vice Chancellor Award. Now, this is scholarship which is applicable to students which are domiciled in India only. So this is in the value of £10,000, and you will find more details on the website. But so we, in summary, we offer 3 scholarships: King's Business School scholarships up to 10,000. This is applicable to any applicant. Please have a look at the categories. Great Scholarship to the specific passport holders for 2025 intake, and the Vice Chancellor Awards, which is collaboration with other faculties as well, and it's in the value of 10,000. What they do have in common, you need to apply for the course and receive an offer, either conditional or unconditional. And that leads me towards the end. So I always ask our students that why would you choose the Kings? And I think the alumni will answer this even better. But this is just a little bit of some of the points they always come back to me. The international community. You will really study in a very diverse cohort, not only from your peers, colleagues, but also our academic staff. The opportunities are both inside and outside of the classes. Even at our student accommodation, we collaborate with various bodies which organizes events, either social or one beneficial to upskill for the future careers. The Alumni Connection of King's College London, over 200,000 alumni, business school 16,000 and counting. Wide range of modules. If you look at our postgraduate programs, particularly some of them in semester 2, the number of optional modules when you choose your direction, it's quite astonishing, the feedback I receive. We do guarantee, not many universities do, for our postgraduate students, accommodation. Of course, there is some deadlines, so more information on the website. And as mentioned before, our career support. So without further ado, because the time is running, you are more than welcome to, of course, follow us on various social media, on a LinkedIn. And if you are interested in any of the courses, I leave this only for 10 seconds. You can register your interest, so you will be informed about any upcoming sessions, online sessions, even online campus tours we do. You can register your interest and you will automatically receive updated information of what is happening. So yeah, thank you very much. I hope this was very short amount of time to squeeze everything, but I think that's my 10 minutes. Let me stop sharing. So I'm gonna take off the QR code. Perfect.
Thank you, Martin. And for everybody listening in, now we're about 250 of us here. I think this is a great opportunity. If you're considering the UK, King's is one of the leading institutions, and you've heard about the different opportunities that the school has to offer. We're going to dive right in. And so, firstly, thank you, Ananya, Tanvi, and Aditya for being here with us. Always hearing directly, as we call it, from the horse's mouth is better because we're trying to get people that are thinking about the UK to hear about your experience and what it's been like. All three of you sort of did it between the 2020 to 2022 era. Where there was a lot of anxiety between candidates that were thinking about studying in the UK in general as well. So Rania, let's start off with you. You came with a background, and I've had the opportunity to look at all your backgrounds a little bit as well. So thank you for sharing that initially. You had different kinds of experiences in investment and strategy roles. Talk to us a little bit about specifically why King's was appealing to you when you were thinking about the MSc in banking and finance, and what do you think it's given you from a uptake for your career perspective?
Thank you. I think in terms of my prior experience, when I graduated from my undergrad role, I always knew in my head that I wanted to pursue a master's simply because like the greater opportunity in terms of like the education itself, but then I also wanted to get a bit of experience in terms of real life work experience so that I could make the most out of my master's. And then I went into doing private equity advisory, where I was advising on like due diligence strategies to PE firms. And that kind of introduced me to the whole world of like finance and private equity. And then in relation to it, investment banking to a degree, but not a direct exposure. So doing my master's at King's was kind of like my gateway into the next step in my career progression in terms of like what opportunities I could get. Obviously, London being one of the top financial districts globally, it is kind of like one of the perfect spots, and it's also the gateway between East and the West, kind of where you've got access to both the Americas and rest of Europe. So King's was kind of like, that was one of the first things that attracted me to King's. It was also the kind of modules that were on offer when I started looking into my application process. It was about what kind of courses were being offered and how that kind of fit into what I wanted to learn. And then what were the, I think one of the great things about King's was, yes, we did it during the COVID era, but even at that time, there were a lot of extra opportunities in terms of like extra activities that you could take up. And then there was a lot of like additional support in terms of practical skills that you can kind of inculcate and learn and take that into your career forward.
Wonderful. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And then we sort of, pegging this back to you as well. You came from a very diverse background, having done HR, social media, and a bit more as well. What was your thought going into the program? Was it, at that stage, now that you've become an entrepreneur, but at that stage, was it looking at HR as a functional area of expertise that you wanted to build, or was that leading you to somewhere to be an entrepreneur already?
So basically, I did my graduation in psychology in India. So my entire motive initially was to like become a counselor, but then I just wasn't very inclined towards doing clinical. So I did not want to get into clinical stuff. So I was inclined more towards going into the industrial background. So like going into the organizational psychology and all of that. So that's something that motivated me to like do HR. And King's personally, because King's, the kind of program that King's had for human resource management was pretty different from what other universities offer. So I'll tell you how. So King's College offers a master's in human resource management and organizational analysis. And with that being given, they also give you an accreditation of CIPD. So CIPD is basically the body of HR in the UK. And if you go, like, if you individually go to pursue that accreditation, it will require a long, long, long time and a lot of money to actually get accredited to that body. And King's is offering that with the program itself. So I think that was a big plus point for me personally to pursue the degree. And the kind of diversity that Kings offer is something phenomenal, because I had friends from all over the world. And during my entrepreneurial journey, I think even that helped me to, like, make it work, because I had connections all over, I had friends all over. And something uh, that is unique to, businesses like ours is that you need to have contacts, you need to know people. So I think Kings worked great for me in that way.
Yeah, thank you. I think there's a similar thing. You're in the heat of everything AI, everything sort of next gen that the companies and people are talking about today. Doctors, what was your mindset when you went into the program, and particularly how has Kings given you that jump start as well?
Right. So Paras, it was a very crazy journey for me because I was working in media buying and I was taking care of a lot of social media, digital marketing strategy accounts within agencies. And then once the pandemic hit, we started seeing a lot of changes in the consumer behavior, and we could map it because if you see in India, a lot of marketing education is not really absolute. It's still in approximations. So you're always assuming, what's really going to happen with the user. Now that curiosity was striking me because I was seeing so much of data and I was like, I don't know how to map this user. I don't know what's coming out next, and the COVID times changed consumer behavior on a level, which to study that is very difficult. So I did a course at, certain other universities in India itself, and I realized, okay, we need something more. So I was fortunate to speak to Prakriti Mukherjee before the course as well, and she gave me an idea that she was a program director. So she gave me an idea that we are going into a little bit of quantifications to understand how this works. So, like that was like the beacon of trust that I had formed with Kings while I was applying. That I'm looking for an answer which can help me to reach an absolute point of what consumers can do when they interact with brands a lot in every field essentially. And then I think when I went in, the first class that I had for my masters was for digital strategy, where the first thing they taught me was pivot management. And today we are at that point where we have to pivot every 6 months because the consumer is changing its pattern. So the first class was the day when everything got solved for me because I was like, yeah, I'm in the right mindset now. So yeah, it does the job.
That's wonderful. No, thank you. And it's exciting to hear each of you had your own reasons, had your own sort of thinking going into the program. And for everyone listening in, I think one thing I would advise is think about your why, because it may be different for each of you. The fact that it doesn't match what someone else is thinking is not the problem, but you just got to think about where are you today and where do you want to be, and is the program or is the school also sort of able to take you there as well. Talking about the school, Martin, I'll bring you one question as well. There's several that are coming in on the chat box, on the Q&A, sorry. So for the folks that are attending, please keep posting your questions. In a couple of minutes, I'll try and take as many as I can. Martin, question for you here. Being such a selective and prestigious school, talk to us when you're looking at candidates that are thinking about applying to King's, what is your advice to them about how do they stand out in that process coming into thinking about business school?
Right, yeah, that's a very difficult question. But look, the business school particularly really values the applicants. They need to demonstrate academic excellence. We are still part of the King's College London, of course, but you can stand up showing us the leadership potential, commitment of, it's in our strategy and vision of the business school and King's College overall to creating a positive impact either in the business, in your communities. So we really look for these future responsible leaders which have the, like I said, strong academic foundation, showing the leadership kind of and the vision. Uh, if you get some global perspective, understanding and engaging with the global issues, ready for international careers. And like I said, you need to be committed for the positive impact. Um, Excellent in collaboration. We really, I believe, I hope the panel can confirm that at various team projects, and we really support and engage the student, but also the critical thinking, question things, and rightly so. I think when I speak to our academics, they love nothing more. It's another kind of an education, and you have to be passionate about the subject. So
Yeah, no,
I think
that's
these
really well
are
put.
that comes across because once you're passionate about something you do, you will always do better.
Wonderful. Now, passion and the idea of leadership and doing good is something that's definitely a theme for today. Aditya, I'll come to you because we're talking about this topic. Um, I understand looking at some of the background that you've shared. You want to go as a gold award winning student academic leader. Talk to me a little bit about being able to balance that, because when students are coming from India in particular, you've had the chance of engaging a lot in extracurricular activities, but academics tend to be on top of people's priority. So talk to us, what did you do to balance both and be able to excel across both domains?
Right. So I think it comes with I think I was a little more older than my batchmates when it came to my whole cohort. But I had been in certain positions before because I was leading my teams and when the companies I was working with. I even was playing sports. I was a professional rugby player as well. I played for India and I played for a couple of teams in before I did my masters. So it comes with a couple of notions that, when the place that you're a part of, you feel like if there is an opportunity to lead and support the team members that are with you, you would want to take that step. I think with Kings, when you start the course, you're briefed on the first day that this opportunity is there for you. So if anybody has a sense of, um, a responsibility that they want to take up and be like, okay, I can lead, I can lead the student representation within this space, I would want to step up. So I did, and I think it panned out. It worked very well because for every sessions that we used to have, or every classes we used to have, like after the mid-semester break, we used to always do, a lot of feedback sessions. We used to speak to our classmates, understand what's happening, and we used to share the feedback with our professors, and the changes were implemented very fast. So you could see that the pivot mindset was within the course itself, and it was happening in days, not even in weeks, or let's say we're just talking about the fact that okay, feedback has been shared, it'll happen after a bit. It's happening right there and there. So, and the good part was, I mean, it was mentioned that the EQUIS accreditation also came into play. So well, while that was happening, Kings invited some of the student leaders and representatives to participate in the EQUIS accreditation process. So we all volunteered as well. So it made us feel more connected to the college and to the course, because we felt responsible for everything that was happening. So, and of course, it paid off because we were being rewarded as well as we were doing it. So it's a very well thought of process. And if somebody's been there in the space who wants to take up responsibility and wants to shine, I think this is the best part. It happens on day one, and you can just take the step and go in.
That's great, and Ananya, I'll bring you a sort of similar line of thought. Um, you were the research lead for the King's Enterprise Research Fellowship, where you did some research on smart cities and smart mobility, and even looking at white papers at that point as well. So, especially investment banking as a space is such a demanding job area as well. It you know thinking ahead of the curve is useful. So I'm guessing the idea of research sometimes is not paramount to people that are originally coming from undergrad going straight into business school. Talk to us a little bit about you know um, how did the how did this whole idea of research and strategic thinking, what insights did you gain from working under the guidance of VC industry experts at that stage as well?
I think one of the things that I'll echo from what Aditya mentioned earlier is that the opportunities are there. I think Kings gives you a very good platform in terms of like multiple opportunities, and you can see a wide variety in terms of like what each of us have picked. The King's Enterprise Research Fellowship was one that had come up in my course. My course director had kind of like told us about it. And then I saw that as an excellent opportunity to kind of go do that networking. Obviously, in like finance, it's a very important part of your career that you start building out those connections early on, and then just get more exposed to like the global kind of the industry itself. And this was kind of the perfect segue into it. The research element of it kind of gives you pushes you into like asking questions, which then when you then transfer into a career in finance it becomes a very important part. But there were quite a few learnings within that program itself, within that fellowship itself. It was kind of almost like being in a job, because you were working with VC already, like you were working with venture capitalists who are working across the globe. They've got their own funds running. So you've got that direct exposure in terms of like, what are the issues that they're facing real time? What are the questions that they're trying to answer? So then you could then use kind of that kind of insight, that kind of knowledge, and then incorporate into your work. You're answering real time questions that people across the globe are asking. Our white paper was on smart cities and mobility, which is even now, I mean, everyone in India would be familiar, like how big smart cities is part of like the plan in terms of infrastructure development, but that is also reflective in most of the countries of the world, especially the developing countries. So it's a very real question that we're trying to answer, and then trying to see like what kind of, where is the investment going in? What is the next opportunity? So I think it was a whole bunch of like different things, different learnings that comes in. When you take up additional things like that, I think that gives you a lot of real life learnings as well. You kind of start learning how to manage your time because you're also doing a very intensive and highly demanding master's course. But at the same time, like that is you learning how to prioritize, you're learning how to manage your time, you're getting exposure to all of these people who are out there in the industry who are experts in their field, and you get access to them. They're spread across the globe, so you're building your global network. So I think there's so much that you can gain from. All you have to do is like go out and take that opportunity.
Yeah, well put. And then similar to what Aditya and Ananya have shared, I think you also took that opportunity to get involved with the faculty education committee. Talk to us what that experience was like, and what were you able to influence in terms of, one, your own learning, but also for your peers, by engaging in such exercises.
So basically, the faculty education committee had one member for the postgraduate students and one member for the undergraduate students. And there used to be like weekly meetings, and wherein we used to discuss like something as small as, the learning environments, the different about the different course programs, or be it academics or, career opportunities, and basically everything under the roof. So I think, like as Ananya and Aditya mentioned, Kings, right from the beginning, like even when you're just out there on the campus, when during the induction programs and the orientations, right from the beginning, they give you lots of opportunities. It's just how you grasp that opportunity. You have to be very proactive in doing so. And regarding the experience that it provides you, like in terms of the real settings and in terms of the academics, is completely out of the world. That's because it, equips you to like uh, apply your learnings into the practical world. So like something that you learn at the be as being, the student representative, or being a member of the faculty education committee, you can apply that to understand what are the grievances of the students. It helps you connect with your mentors, it helps you connect with the faculty, and also be in touch with your peers. So I think it's a great opportunity, and in the sense that, it helps you in connecting, it helps you in understanding, and in the end it helps you in applying those skills that you've learned in the practical settings. So yeah.
Oh, wonderful, and thank you all three of you for answering that with such honesty as well. Martin, I'll bring you the next question. One of the things that international students in particular think a lot about is how do they fit in, right? Talk to us a little bit about what Kings is doing in terms of the opportunities and challenges that candidates face, and how is Kings as a school or as an institution trying to support them to fit into a new environment as well.
Sure. Well, that's a great question. The international students, no matter where you're from, you really, you enjoy unique opportunities, but it can also be kind of a phase with the challenges. The opportunities, I think some of the panelists already said, the global networking, of course, the cultural exposure, not only at the campus, but also, through the world-class museums outside of the campus, basically, the career prospects. I mean, the city status as a global business hub, offer various internships and opportunities. But of course, the challenges, and coming from me as well as an international student, when I moved to UK, I think what students see sometimes challenging is adapting to that fast-paced lifestyle. So really navigating that city's demands can be overwhelming, especially when you're moving. So from time management to understanding the cultural nuances. Um, the other one's building support systems when I speak to the students. So being far from home, and I experienced it myself when I moved to UK with no English language whatsoever. So you are in a very different situation. That might really initially might feel isolating without a strong community. I mean, at the start. And of course, managing costs. It is the theme which we need to touch on. London itself is it's one of these cities where living expenses can require the careful budgeting. So at King's, there is various supports for international students. the welcoming community. I hope the panel can confirm that. So we got the students from over 150 countries, and like I said, when I speak to students to tell me the three good things, it's always first or second is that sense of community. So really foster that inclusion through cultural societies, events, and so on. We got dedicated support services. So there are tailored support resources such as visa guide, even before you arrive, the visa guidance, the academic support, mental health support, even the budgeting finance team, which is here to talk and support students. Career has been mentioned a few times. So the career development to get you ready and kind of prepare you internationally, and of course, um, our location itself helps to face these challenges. So we really combine this welcoming culture with the practical support at the campus. And I hope, like I said, the panelists have interacted or can confirm that. So overall, when I speak to prospective or students which are already at the campus, they always tell me, and like I said, it's always students is the most important for me. They tell me that the most challenging for them was before their arrival, the waiting for the information, the stressful. But once they get in, they feel well supported, and of course, like challenges are there, but we put things and teams in places to make the transition easier.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Martin. And thank you for all the folks that are posting questions. In just about a minute or so, I'm going to try and take some of those as a part of the mix as well. Um, then we'll bring you the next question. And this is some more, mix of something that I had in mind, but also what's coming in from the audience as well. Um, Talk to us a little bit, in particular, HR as a faculty or as a function. What, given that now you're in India and you've built a business, but were there opportunities as a student or as a graduate that you were able to pursue, or you had access to, thinking about a career in HR, and what was that like? Because I think there's two folks that have asked that. Um, Tell us what's the environment for non. We know finance is sort of the hub of everything happening in London, for sure. But for all the alternative careers, talk to us a little bit if you had some experiences around that too.
So yes, I think it's a very important question to address. Regarding the human resource field in the UK, I think it's a very big job market. And with that being said, human resource management is apparently very attractive, like for individuals to pursue. So there is a lot of competition. I wouldn't deny that. And but if you're proactive in whatever you're doing, like if you're attending your career workshops in Kings, and Kings also gives you exposure to people from the industry, so they regularly hold webinars and they seminars to make you meet people from the industry. So if you're engaged in that and if you're active in that, then it helps you in understanding the real practical world scenario. So like when you pursue a master's, you're just aware about the course modules, or you have a slight expectation of what you will be doing. But once you meet the people in the industry, then you get to know better about the course requirements. Like you get to know better about the job roles and the stuff that you would be actually doing. So I think regarding the job market, it is a little competitive, but it is also a big job market. So when I was applying for jobs, I think something that helped me stand out was because Kings had already given us a CIPD accreditation. So we were already exposed to the kind of duties, and we had a practical assessment. So with respect to that, it helped us in applying for the jobs. So that also gives you an edge in the market. So not a lot of people will have that accreditation. So it just helps you stand out from the crowd.
Lovely. No, thank you for that, Tanvi. And then I'll bring you the next one. And while we're talking about standing out from the crowd, we do understand the UK job market is complicated, right? And especially in today's time. That is probably one of the biggest questions that students have, especially international students. Talk to us very, very transparently, what were some of the challenges that you faced during your job search? you've done really well landing up at HSBC. But what kind of resources that Kings offer in overcoming some of those initial challenges too?
I think in terms of like applying for a job anywhere is difficult. Obviously, the whole world is a highly competitive place, London being more so because it's one of the global financial districts. You've got opportunities, but you've also got like I help out with recruiting in HSBC sometimes, and then we know that there's almost 10,000 applications for each position in the investment banking division. So that kind of gives you the idea of like how competitive the process is. And I'm sure like Martin will know it's just as competitive trying to get into the program itself at King's. I think what helps you kind of have an edge or just like make yourself stand out is, and that's something King's gives you a lot of support with. I remember during my time there, it was first and foremost, as soon as I went in, it was like you've got so many industry practitioners who are your professors. You've not just got you've got a very good mix of like professors who are academia in academics. But you've also got a very good mix of like people who have got professional exposure and who have been in the industry. So they kind of guide you right from the very beginning in terms of like start early. You got to start early. You got to go out, keep yourself open. I think one of the biggest challenges is like if you don't start early, a lot of the times the master's programs is like my program was 15 months long. Companies start recruiting a year in advance, especially for like things like graduate roles. So I think starting early is a very big key thing. You get a lot of support at King's in terms of like helping build your CV in the industry. There's a very kind of like set kind of guideline in terms of what your CV should look like. That can differ as an international student. You're used to like a different format, but that makes a massive difference. So like how you put your information down in your CV, how you kind of like best highlight your experiences. And then more in like the practical thing in terms of what helps you stand out to companies is like, as part of my program, we had access to like the Bloomberg course, which helped us kind of like play around with Bloomberg terminal, how it works and things like that. And then when you go into an interview and you can display that like practical knowledge, like you've not just got your theoretical base of like, okay, I know what a fundamental analysis is, but you can also translate and show that like, look, I've done this. And that's where things like my research fellowship, and then I had another that I did with the King's Investment Fund, and all of those kind of just like showcase where you've like taken your theoretical knowledge and applied it in a practical real world scenario. And you've got the support over there. I remember one of my RAs, one of the TAs was actually working in the finance industry, and he was always able to like in the middle of like classes give us insights into like how it works and what you do to make yourself stand out. And I think each and like every single little bit helps, and like that's how kind of you build your profile. And I think like starting early is one of the biggest things.
Yeah. No, great. Thank you for that, Ananya. And I think what sort of is echoing across what Tanvi and Ananya both have mentioned is the proactivity to do more, right? A lot, all those resources will be around as students, for folks that are looking to study in a competitive school, in a competitive program. It's important that you put yourself out there to do more as well. Talking about putting yourself out there and doing more, Aditya, entrepreneurship, and two of you are entrepreneurs here today, but entrepreneurship can be scary and can be quite daunting when you're initially thinking about that. Coming right out of grad school, so, tell us a little bit about what aspect of your journey at King's gave you the confidence to now go out and build something of your own.
Yeah, so as Tanvi and Ananya rightly mentioned, the market is very tough, especially for marketers. I mean, it is a very, very competitive market. I was kind of in the space where when I went in, I was like, okay, I'll try the graduate route and I'll, try to get early on experiences. But I think I had 6 years of experience in the industry before. So it was not the best thing for me to do for anyone who's in the space. So while I was doing my course, I think I was also applying for jobs at the same time, but I was looking at what I was studying. So like taking my experiences from back in the years, I was using those in the classes, let's say research in marketing research, let's say consumer behavior or strategy. I could take those examples from what I had learned to put them into place. And At the same time, we were talking about 2021 when the NFT and the Web3 concept was booming up. So I started writing my dissertation and I stopped focusing on jobs. I was like, okay, I needed to fix a problem in the industry. And I think when you write your dissertation, when the briefing is happening, Kings always put forward that your dissertation or your research should focus a real world problem. Essentially, that real world problem is why my company exists today. So what happened during that timeline was the fact that we started doing regression theory and a lot of things in Web3. We started understanding, with me and my supervisor, Professor Elias Zanazis, he put a lot of pressure on me. And at that time, I can say Web3 did not have a lot of research papers. So we were trying to go down 10, 20 years, cite those papers and come up with factors that could influence what's going to happen next. How are we trying to see the movement of Web3 in the next few coming years? It was very strange for me when I did my masters and I came out. I was applying for jobs and I was going for interviews. I found out that what companies were doing, I was doing that much faster by myself. So that I was like, okay, if that is the case, I reached out to the careers account, panel, and of course, we have access still after our masters that we can reach out to them and we can talk to them. And trust me, I still do it. I still sometimes book sessions and I go to Kings and I'm like, okay, this is where I am. What do I need to do? And the greatest part about Kings that I feel for myself, it worked out very well, was that they have a Kings Entrepreneurship Institute where a lot of brands who are currently facing struggles like my own are discussing these problems. So finding synergies was very easy. To find a way to solve a problem was much easier. And when I moved back to India, essentially, while I was competing in the job markets, the companies that I see essentially applied to are now partners of my own company. So it reached a point where I was like, okay, if I cannot work for you, maybe I can partner up with you. And then that's where my dissertation is now my white paper at my company.
Wonderful.
So as it Kings really, I mean, of course, the pressure that you take in for your own self while you're writing your dissertation in the third trimester, what Kings puts forward as a challenge that you need to solve, if you take that very seriously, you can actually come out and solve a real world problem, which of course brings you to positions like mine or Tanvi or anybody else in this space that we
Mhm.
try to form our own companies and that tends to work well.
Wonderful. No, thank you for that. Then, and just hearing your true experiences of what resources you guys all leveraged by being at Kings and what led to your journey after is something I feel everyone listening in today should feel inspired by, and use that as motivation when and if you do get into Kings, how to leverage those for your own benefit as well. Martin, I'm going to do a little bit of a sort of rapid fire with you because there's a few questions that have come in with regards to applications and the process itself as well. So I'm going to spotlight you and myself just very quickly for this part of the session. Okay, so let's get cracking. Yukta is asking, tell us a little bit about how can we craft a compelling application with weightage given on various criterias, which could strengthen their prospects of being shortlisted for the program.
Right. Please firstly check. I'm going to be doing regular sessions on Sundays, so more people don't have to work. But I will be doing sessions about this. But if you watch my presentation, you've seen it's all about the academics and then personal statement. Really, references is out of your control. So your personal statement really would tell us and to the academic and program director who you are. Common mistake I see or we see people attach their CV. We don't require any working experiences, just to let you know, for any of our programs. But you do some extracurricular activities, and students, applicants just they decide to just submit the CV. They think that this is what I've done. Okay, but we can see what you've done, but tell us what skills did you gain and what experience did you gain? What are you bringing to the class? How are they applicable to the course you are applying to? So by just doing something, and sometimes less is more. So really think about, of course, the grades comes first, but think about your personal statement. Show it to the people who knows you the best. Show it to your classmates, your family. Reread it again, because trust me, when you draft the first one, you're gonna probably have to make it shorter. So that's the opportunity to stand up, and the passion for the subject has to come across.
Yeah, and I'll just sort of add one quick tip, Yukta. When you're applying to top schools, go through the process yourselves. Don't use a third party to write things for you, because no one can be as authentic as you to be able to tell your story. So it's a lot. The essay that you're writing is a lot about your story and convincing the school outside of the grades and anything else that are facts that you've shared with them. How do you become a great addition to the class as well?
Correct. It's
Martin,
called
next one.
personal statement. That's why it's called it's personal.
Awesome. Next one. There's a question about the MSc in HRM. Is work experience required, and are there job opportunities for folks that come out of the program as well?
Look, the panel described it perfectly. What I would add to it, because I don't think it was in their times, we have now implemented into curriculum before you even start the teaching. So during your first week, career impact program. It's a 3-day thing where we bring not only alumni but speakers of the various private entities, not only the big companies. That's one thing. So think of the startups as well, and so on. So no working experience is not required. We have a mixture of the class, mostly fresh graduates, but the working experience is not required for any of our programs.
Okay, lovely. All right, let's go on to the next one. Um, there's one question around internet, and I think we've sort of covered this. So I'll just sort of try and summarize this, Martin, before I put this to you. For international students, and maybe actually, let's bring in actually, Ananya, if you want to come in on this one. As an international student, talk to us. Ayush is asking for a student moving to a foreign country to study abroad. He wants to understand how King's helped one of you adjust to a new environment. So maybe we'll just ask about your personal experience here in that case as well.
Sure. I think one of the most important things to think about is like, yes, you are here in a new country for the first time, but given what Martin mentioned, the diversity of King's, the diverse nature of this whole student body at King's, when you first move into your uni accommodation, you realize that it's not just you. Almost every other person in that building is also in the exact same position as you. And you're kind of going on this journey together where you'll be like staying in the same building block, you'll be going through the same classes together. And then you can only see it as an advantage. Yes, it can seem daunting at first, but then once you realize that all of you are on that journey together, it just becomes so much easier to kind of like go up, speak to people, and that kind of helps you build your skills going down in the future as well. You like building your communication skills, you're building your network in that way. You're learning how to go up and approach to someone with a very different cultural background. When you come into the corporate world, you're going to be working with a very diverse culture there as well. So you kind of like learn on how to deal with those kind of sensitivities and things like that. So yes, it can seem daunting till you've actually taken that flight and landed in this country. But once you arrive and once you've settled in and once you're past that initial kind of fear, you will see that and then the intensity of the course comes in, you see all of these opportunities coming up, and then you kind of like sort of forget that this is supposed to be scary and you just dive straight in. Or at least that was the experience for me, and I'm sure like others can reflect.
Wonderful. Martin, anything you'd like to add to that?
Oh, I'm gonna go back to my experience. Like I said, look, I came here, like I said, no language. It was first daunting, but once you fall into something, you have to, because it's an intense course. It's a 1-year master, of course, and with all the opportunities and the things on the side, from entrepreneurship institute, the workshop, the alumni events, and so on. I think I can't describe it better than Ananya. I speak to students. Uh, Trying on weekly basis. I travel a lot for my work, and I always ask them, and I can see the difference when they come to the induction week, and literally I meet them 3-4 weeks after, where they're already interacting with various groups. They created their own groups, they're participating in various things, and so on. So
Wonderful. All right, and then there's one question, and Martin, I'll keep you on this question. We've heard from the panel already around this topic, but currently, especially with the political climate, and the visa opportunities available, what kind of opportunities are available for graduates coming out today? Can you talk to us a little bit about that and what you've seen?
Well, actually, I have to say first, I'm not obliged to give a legal advice. However, actually, as you know, I read that question, and I actually think it's considering, and please, Paras, you live here as well. I think you can confirm it. We are in a much better situation than we were with the previous government. This government is really creating. There is no changes in the visa apart from if you want to bring dependents. It's the 2 years post-study visa and so on. Once again, we do visa sessions as well. If you look globally, without saying any other country specifically, they actually putting some restrictions. So there was a statement from the chancellor. I don't want to now say it, actually visited Kings, which actually very clearly made it clear the international students are welcome. They bring a lot to the economy. So I think the comparing the what you call the political landscape is much better than it was with the previous government, especially towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would just sort of say, when you look at the economic climate alongside, there are new opportunities coming up. But like the three panelists have told us today, a lot depends on how you put yourself in front of right opportunities. It is obviously competitive, given that, there have been situations where people that have experience are also in the market versus folks that are graduating and coming into the mix now. So I think you have to think about this as a long term ROI, not just immediately the role that you land up. That is important for sure. But think about it for 3 to 5 years in. Are you then creating a opportunity for yourself that you wouldn't have had otherwise? Are you looking at a career map or trajectory that where the return on investment on your time, money, and effort put in has quadrupled over the 3 to 5 year period as well? So I always recommend that, yes, there will be challenges. The economy is always going to be it's like it's a process that goes up and down, but you have to think about what skills that you gain, what experiences that you have, that you've onboarded, that actually make you a different person and opens you up for much more in the future. um, so with that, while there are a couple of more questions, and I apologize for not taking more at this stage, I want to roll back to everybody on the panel now, just to quickly, sort of share with us one tip that you would, if you were today looking at studying abroad, and what you think they should keep in mind. So, Ananya, if you want to start, Tanvi, if you can go next, and Aditya, we'll come to you last.
I think my first, like my top tip would be just go for it. Like every opportunity that you don't take is an opportunity that you miss. And like, unless you try, unless like, yes, you have to work hard. But I think if you're making that decision to come to a place like this, to compete at this level, then you're going to have to put the hard work into it. But if you don't try, you're not going to go anywhere.
Wonderful. Tanvi?
I think something that worked for me, and I cannot emphasize on this enough, is networking. So, since you're in a foreign country, that explains itself. Like, you're not in your home country. So, you've got exposure to like a lot of people around the globe. And that is something that is that, you can also consider it as an ROI, because you will meet people that might not, benefit you in like the short term, but you never know what opportunities they can hold for you. So I think just network, 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 talk to your faculty, talk to your peers, talk to anyone, just talk and network.
Wonderful. Aditya? You're on mute, sorry.
Yeah, I would actually, continue with Tanvi's point itself. Networking is extremely important. Understand your purpose and ask the right questions. And I think that is very important when you have to choose the right course and the right college that you're going to work for. I think with Kings, the best part is if you have these two things clear and you're writing your SOPs and you're reaching out to the faculty, they will help you. They will genuinely help you. And I always feel like you should, taking up Tanvir and Ananya's point again, please network with everyone, speak to us, speak to anyone who is at King's. And I think the alumni community is very strong. We keep having sessions. I speak to alumni or even applicants almost every second or third month. So we are there to help. We are a family, and we are a very well connected community who keeps who's making sure everyone knows what they're doing. So yeah, just once again, keep
Awesome.
your focus and the questions right in. Yeah.
Awesome. Martin, anything from you for future applicants?
I think the panel said it all. I'm going to combine them all. Yes, go for it, communicate, and do it before you even submit the application. You can talk to our current students. We use the Unibody. Just put in a Google chat to our students or chat to students, Kings. You like you said, the alumni network is very helpful. Check out, you can ask how their experiences is. So and you're already practicing that. You're approaching. What's the worst can happen? That you don't receive a response. Didn't
Yeah.
we apply for a job where we never heard from them? So it's part of that. So yes, go for it, but and start early. We all said it during the session.
Awesome. And my last tip for everyone listening in is going to be, you know, believe in yourself, because till the time you're doing that, um, the next set of opportunities are never open enough till the time you explore them. So take the leap of faith. Studying abroad is a life-changing experience, and doing it at a top school facilitates or gives you the jump start that you're probably looking for as well. So with that, I want to thank the panelists. We're already about 12 minutes over, and I apologize to all of you in advance. But thank you for taking the time and being here with us today. I hope for all the students that are listening in, you've had this informative but useful conversation with folks that have gone through that journey as well. So thank you once again, and look forward to seeing you all again soon. Have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.